Before we get into today's mailbag, we're closing in on the San Francisco 49ers report, sort of. We're still like 7,000 subs away, but we're gaining ground on Chase Sr. and Trey Lance and San Fran Niners Nation, whatever they call them out there. So subscribe to Chicago Bears now. Let's catch the 49ers report in subs. Got to get to 30K before we pass the 49ers report, so hit that big red button. We'll continue to bring you videos here on a daily basis. All right, it's mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. You can follow me on Twitter at HGrahamNFL, and we will keep you up to date with everything going on with the Bears, and you can ask me more questions over there. Let's start with some super chats. El Niño here. Trade for Allen Robinson for Michael Thomas. Thoughts? Honestly, no. I'm not convinced Thomas is better than Robinson. Thomas has played with the Hall of Fame quarterback his entire career in Drew Brees, and AR's played with bums like Blake Bortles and Chase Daniel, and slightly better than bums Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. I don't know. I think Thomas is a diva. I don't think AR is. I'm going to keep Robinson. Paul Dow with the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Sup, Harrison? What's up, Paul? Got to thinking, what are your top 3 underrated/underappreciated players on this year's team, and who would have been the counterpart on the 85 team? Oh, underrated for 85? I don't know. That's hard to do the counterpart. I'll just name the underrated guys on this year's team. I think some underrated players on this year's team include Bilal Nichols, James Daniels, if he's healthy, and gosh, how about Danny Trevathan? We like to bag on Trevathan. He's still a really solid player. So there's 3 underappreciated guys on this team. So there you go. Benny DeBully, if you would start your franchise today, would you choose Roquan Smith, Allen Robinson, Khalil Mack, or Justin Fields? I'm choosing Roquan. Honestly, even though he hasn't played yet, I'm still choosing Justin Fields. Because if you don't have the quarterback, nothing else matters. That's been proven in recent years for the Bears, right? They've had everything else. They've had the defense, they've had the skill group, but they haven't had the quarterback. If Justin Fields hits, then you can get by with slightly lesser players at other positions. After that, if I had to power rank the other ones, gosh, it would be between, I don't know, man. I still might go Khalil Mack, even though he's a couple years older, because he just creates so much havoc for quarterbacks. Hotshot C123, appreciate the $5. When will Teven Jenkins be back? Is the new Clemson O-lineman good? Gage Cervenka is a camp body, nothing more. He's not going to save your offensive line, so that's the answer on that part of it. When will Jenkins be back? Hopefully soon. I mean, depending on when you're watching this, maybe he's back, but as we film this live on Tuesday, he is not back, so we'll have to wait and see when he returns. It sounds like there's no real update there. Jabron James, 23. Could the Bears trade for James Washington? So a lot of trade rumors around the Steelers' young receiver here as he's set to enter his 4th season in the NFL. He's either officially requested a trade or he's discussed it with his agent and the Steelers, the possibility of being traded. He's just been okay through 3 seasons. 1,344 yards and 9 touchdowns. Those numbers right there are like super elite numbers for 1 season for a high-end receiver. If it was over 2 seasons, I'd be like, okay, that's an okay number 2 type of receiver. But other than that, he's just been all right. I think he'd come in and maybe be wide receiver 3. Like, is he better than Damiere Byrd? Maybe. I'm not really sure though. So don't have a ton of interest. But if it's cheap, you could talk me into it. Should the Bears trade for James Washington? Type T for trade, type P for pass. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So get your votes in. T for trade or P for pass. Shy Force, money for you, my man. Appreciate it. Matchups to watch versus the Dolphins. Well, if you're watching live, Shy Force, we're going to take a look at the top 5 players to watch against the Dolphins. How about the CB after Jalen Johnson? How do the other corners hold up against those Dolphins receivers for Miami? So I think that's something I'm really watching for this weekend. Got another $2 from Fofo Plays. He says, Justin Fields. Hey, man, we're all hyped. So appreciate that from you, Fofo. Any reaction? Who should I watch in the preseason? Well, stay tuned. If you're watching live, Annie, 5 players to watch for against the Dolphins. If you're not watching live, for anyone out there, if it's after Tuesday, we're publishing the video on Wednesday of 5 players to watch against the Dolphins. So go check that out. Subscribe. Go to the video tab and find that video. Another super chat from El Niño. With Justin Fields doing so good, when will he start? Look, there's real hype around him. It's not fake. It's not fabricated. Think about when you turn on ESPN or throw on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. Which rookie quarterback's being talked about the most? It's not Trevor Lawrence. Zach Wilson's gotten a little chatter recently, but that's because he's been struggling. No one's talking about Mac Jones. I think he's been solid, but it's, with Tom Brady not there anymore, it's not. They're not getting as much coverage. And Trey Lance has gotten some, but it's been Justin Fields, and it's not just because it's the Bears, it's because he's been that good at camp. I still don't think he'll be the week 1 starter, but weirder things have happened. If he continues to, quote, blow the Bears' minds, according to Louis Riddick, then, hey, you can't rule it out. He'll be there in the lineup sooner rather than later, in my opinion. Who you got this Saturday when we see Justin Fields for the first time? Type MIA for the Miami Dolphins. Type CHI for the Chicago Bears. Here's to see what you guys think. Let me know who's going to win this one, Miami or Chicago. And if you want to go bet on this game, well, there's only one place to do it. That is BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN. That's going to get you a 125% deposit bonus. That's one word, bear down, with our link below, chatsports.com/Bears. Got to use our link to get that credit there, 125% deposit at Bear Down. Hey, here are the odds. Bears, 3.5-point favorites. The total over-under between the two teams, 35.5. That's not a lot of points. I kind of like the over in this game, so go bet on it. Chatsports.com/Bears. Use our promo code BEARDOWN to get extra money and to make money throughout the NFL season. Angel Guillen, hashtag Bears, appreciate the $5. Who is going to be Rookie of the Year? I think Justin Fields. I said about 2 months ago, I think now, if Fields is in there by week 5, I think he's got a good chance because, A, I think he'll play pretty well, and B, I think he has a good enough team around him where he could rally the Bears to a playoff spot maybe. And if he does that, even with slightly lesser stats than some of the other guys, that's going to give him a good chance of winning Rookie of the Year because I don't see the Jags making the playoffs. Zach Wilson, he does not have a lot around him in New York, so I kind of like Fields' chances. In Bragg, Larry Borum at left tackle, Jenkins at right tackle. I think it's a real possibility. I think long-term it is. I doubt that happens this year. I don't think they're going to start 2 rookies. I think they also want to give it a real go with Jenkins at left tackle. But let's say he's banged up / struggles this year at left tackle, swing him back to right where he played more in college and Borum continues to develop. Yeah, that could be your long-term solution on your offensive line, but I just don't think it'll happen this year. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate yours as well, Anid. Should we trade Andy Dalton? Doesn't really save you much money. I think a couple $1 million. I don't think it makes sense. I would still try to trade Nick Foles, but that's not looking so hot either. So you're probably stuck with all 3. Marcus Muir, what if Fields plays bad against the Fins? Then he plays bad. I mean, I want to see him play first, but look, if he goes out there and throws 3 picks, it's obviously going to be a little concerning. A, I don't think it happens. B, it's his first live reps against a different team. He might struggle. Like that, he's still a rookie. As great as he's been in camp, until he goes up against other opponents, we can't really gauge where he's at in his development. It's very possible he'll go out there and struggle, but it's also possible he goes out there and balls out. Only time will tell. Braden Hislop, you think Ogletree makes the 53-man? Has looked great in camp so far. Go Bears. Yeah, bear down. Get those bear downs going in the comments. Yeah, he absolutely has a chance. I'll do an updated 53-man roster projection probably in the next couple of weeks. As of now, I would have Ogletree in there. He's been fantastic at camp. I think he has 6 interceptions or something like that as we're filming this. That's pretty awesome. Now, some people are like, oh, he could replace Danny Trevathan. I'm not there, but could he beat out Christian Jones for LB3? Yeah, I think that's possible. He's been good in coverage. He's been good overall. He's had a good career. He just didn't play much last season. Go subscribe to us here at Chicago Bears Now. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. We got to hit 30,000 subscribers before kickoff against the Miami Dolphins on Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Help us get there. We're like 200 away. youtube.com/Bears Now. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Declan Brown, do you think the Bears can knock off the Rams week 1? Of course. I mean, it's not like the gap between the Rams and the Bears is massive. I think the Rams will be favored, and they should be. They're at home. They've made the playoffs a lot in recent years. They've got, Matthew Stafford, who the Bears have actually performed well against in the past, so that actually could help the Bears just knowing how he plays. But the Rams are favored. They should be favored. But the Bears have a chance. Would I bet on it? Not at this point, but let's see how the preseason goes, and then, let's let the cards play out and see what happens. Appreciate the super chat, Declan. Tamper the Lambert, do you think our O-line will be back at full strength by week 1? I mean, hopefully, right? It doesn't sound like any of the issues are super serious with Teven, Jenkins, and Daniels, but they're all out. So, I mean, you hope those guys get back and healthy. I just want Jenkins to get reps. That's it. Like, I don't want him playing week 1 with, 4 practices under his belt. Like, I need him to get real practice reps before the second preseason game. If that doesn't happen, you think I'm concerned now? I'm really concerned at that point in time. Greg Sorrell, we got a couple more here. How do you feel about the Bears secondary? Golly. Not horrible, but obviously not great. I think the safety duo of Jackson and Gibson will be better this year. Second year playing next to one another. Eddie Jackson talked about that recently. So I feel pretty comfortable about that. I love Jalen Johnson. I think he can be a number 1 corner. But after that, there's question marks. Can Desmond Trufant find his old form? He's older. Kendall Vildor, can he step up? Bears like him, but, he was just okay when he played last year. Who's going to be your nickel corner? Is it going to be Duke Shelley, Thomas Graham? Not great options, but, hey, competition brings out the best in all of us. Shaq McNair, which Bears game are you most looking forward to? Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau sounds pretty fun. Maybe it ends in a disaster, but I would love to see the Bears win in Lambeau before Aaron Rodgers beats the Packers. Hopefully Fields is starting by then. I think that could be fun. I think the Raiders game is going to be a good time. That game's in Vegas. That should be fun. I think that's week 5. So there's a lot of interesting games on the schedule. It's a tough schedule. Recently was ranked as the hardest schedule in the NFL. So no weeks off this year for the Chicago Bears. They got to bring it every single week. All right, hey, random question, random word. Type a random word. First word that comes to mind. I want to hear it from you guys right now in the comments. It can be literally anything. It can be about the Bears. It can be about food. It can be just a random word. It can be, I don't know, carrot. I don't care what the word is. Just type it right now, and I want to hear from you guys.